one of the reasons that I started throwing some stuff out there on YouTube, not to be a YouTuber or any of that stuff, as you know, but just kind of show you some different things. And I've dabbled in a lot of different things over the years. I have prototyped different things throughout the years. I actually had a complete product line that I developed, patented and stuff like that. Didn't go anywhere. Don't think that this is some grand thing. Nor should you think that patenting something means you make a lot of money. Not the case. It actually costs you quite a bit of money. But anyway, I have purchased some things. I have some things from that time of doing that. It's just been sitting in a cabinet for I don't know how long, probably over a decade. But I have an issue. I am going to be doing something on this table. I'm going to have a piece of wood, and that'll be a different video, but I'll have like a countertop or something on here that needs to be level. Anything that needs to be level when you're doing it. And this table is really close, but not 100% level. This wasn't built to be that way. And it's super heavy, and it's not something that I can level off per se, but I want to have the ability to level something on this surface easily and kind of dial it in. So that's really what I'm trying to solve today. But I'm going to use some of the stuff that I had in the past. Now, are you going to have this laying around? No, probably not, most likely. But I do have it. I want to put this out there so you can see some of the things that are out there and that maybe you can do if you so desire. But if nothing else, you kind of get to see behind the scenes of how certain things are maybe prototyped, different things that you can use to quickly prototype. And this is not going to be something extravagant. It's going to be something very simple. But you can use this when you see something else, or you use like a thumb screw or something. You'll see kind of how that goes together, and it'll take some of the mystery out of that, hopefully, as we go. So I'm going to get into it. These different kits that I had purchased in the past. This is a prototype kit for inserts. Inserts are something that you can put in. You can mold it right into composite resins. Make molds. I was making silicone molds and putting these inserts in there. And what the inserts allow you to do is screw something into them later, right? So that is what I have going on here. So I have a bunch of different inserts. I just bought a prototype kit because when I was doing it, I was trying to figure out different ways, different methods to do certain things, and I wanted to have an ability to put something together, see if it worked quickly, and then go from there. Here are thumb screws. You get a thumb screw kit. Has a bunch of different varieties, and I'll show you what has to go in there, but you can kind of see from the instructions maybe here. You basically put a cap screw in here, and it gets retained. It gets retained by these ridges, and you'll see that in a minute here. But different variety again, big, small. I have other ones that I purchased that are just thumb screws. You can get these from a lot of different places, but they're meant to be thumb screws that attach to a piece of hardware. And what I have here is a kit that I got from the local hardware store. That's just a collection of hex cap screws, and what it is just it's an Allen screw. This is a big one, but you could put an Allen screw in there, or with the things that we have here, you can take this thing, and then you squeeze this in, and because this is knurled, and you can see from this there are different little pieces of plastic sitting out there, and as you push this in, that retains it. Now these things aren't for really tightening something down with a lot of pressure, but it's just a quick, easy, adjustable. You know, you just use a thumb screw. You don't need a tool, but you take a piece of hardware, an Allen screw or something like this, and you just put it in there, and now you've created your own thumb screw. Pretty cool, huh? So that's what we are going to do today. Real quick here. So I have the inserts I'm going to use are 1/4 and that's the other thing. So you'll see on here the different sizes. There's metric, there's standard. You have to make sure there's coarse thread, fine thread, all those different things. You have to make sure that whatever this is, you have that similar screw. These are quarter 20s, and I have a bunch of these. You see all these here. That's from prior projects. So I'm going to use these, and I just use a quarter 20 nut insert like that, and put it in. Now these are meant to be resined in. So basically, you have a mold, and you would put these in the resin or in the mold, and you pour the resin around it, and the resin actually grabs onto these knurls. These I can't think of the word, but you know what I mean. Splines, mini splines. It grabs onto those, and then it cures around them, so this doesn't come out. We're not going to do that today. What we're going to do today is put it in a piece of lumber. This is just a 2x4 that I have, a scrap. You can tell it's not great. I'm going to insert those. I want to see if it'll work just inserting it after I drill a hole. I'm thinking it's not going to because this wood is soft. So I have a plan B, which will be putting a little bit of CA glue around it to help grab those knurls and also the wood and retain it better. But first things first, I'm going to go ahead and figure out which drill I need, and for this wood I'm going to go just a little bit smaller than this outside edge, and I'm going to squeeze it in. They also have like hex press in. This is actually meant for a press in, so it's hex. You would drill it and then you squeeze it into the wood. This is more of what I should be using, but I don't have the stuff to use this. I don't have the right hardware. So I'm going to use what I have, see if I can make it work. Make sure the hole is deep enough. There we go, deep enough, easy enough to test. If I'd have done that the first time, then you wouldn't have learned how to screw up. You'll have that. So now we'll put this back in here. On top here, just to kind of help it stay true. You'll be able to see that if I can close up, but you see it kind of react. I'll do a close up hopefully, and you'll be able to see it react up there. I'm going to let it cure. Alright, so I cleaned up some of my mess here. I have this small, really small counter. It's the smallest one of this project, but whatever it is, I just need to level it off. The other thing I want to show you is just how hard this stuff is. I mean, you can scratch it when you try, but it's definitely cured. Excuse me, cured on the top. And I'm going to assume the top gets hard and then it just takes a while for the rest of it. But I'm going to, because I know this is cured, this isn't going to stick to it. It's only been a few minutes, by the way. Put this on. So now, you'll see that this is just how a counter is made underneath. This is the one I made. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I want to make sure that they're clear, they're inside of the edge. And then let's see what we got here. Okay, so left side's high. Just turning it down. Right side's got to go up, so this is turned all the way down. I'll show you kind of what I'm doing. Just going to loosen this a little bit to have it go up. That way you can see it. I'm not sure if you're seeing the level or not. That looks good that way. So there it is this way. Okay, this side's high. So again, I'll just do this. I'm going to turn these all the way down. Let's see if I'm still there. This side's still high, which is what I was seeing with the table. So I'm doing this just so you can see. I normally just stick my hand under there and turn it. Okay. Alright, this way. Okay. So that works. So now I have a level counter just by using those thumb screws, and I can put a coating on top and I don't have to worry about running off. This is level, even if the table's not. And the other thing I can do, because this is plastic so it'll slide pretty quick, pretty easily, I happen to have, again, because it's sitting here, premium shelf and drawer liner. This is probably, oh look, yeah. Old. Okay. This is non-stick. But what I can do, let's see how this works. We're just going to throw this over top of them. I could make these, secure these to the top of each of them, but for, again, just quickly kind of testing the theories. Oh yeah. So now that doesn't move at all. So I know this works on there because I just threw it on. What I want to do now is cut out little chunks of this and just put them on the top of this. So each of these on the very top have that non-stick. I don't know what's going to work with it. I'm actually going to try the CA glue for giggles. It might eat right through this and not work at all. But let's find out. So actually, I'm not going to pull that one back out. I'm going to use this one as my guide. Okay, well, let's try the CA glue. You know why? Very specific reason. It's right here. So I'm going to put that in here. Actually, I don't want to do that on this one. I don't want to do that this one because that one we know is good. Again, of course, if I mess that up, now I have to make another one, and I don't have a ton of that hardware. So I'm going to grab one for a bigger screw. That is not what I'm using here, and use that to test. So I just put that in the holes, but I'm letting it run down. I don't want it to sit on the top. And actually, because it's not activated, I should be able to kind of wipe the top here to make sure that that glue is not what's on the very top, that is the rubber side. There are better ways to do it. Again, I'm just using what's here. I'll activate it. See what happens. Using the CA, yeah, I can't pull that off. I mean, I can, but it's tough. So that seems to be able to work. And then let's just see what we have here. Press down. Let's see if it moves. Okay, so there's a little bit of glue that got on the top of this. So that made that not work the way I wanted it to. Let's put this there so it doesn't squeeze through, and also so it covers the entire area. I don't know if the activator will get in there. We'll find out. I also don't know if the activator itself is making that film, so we'll test that out here as well. Let's see what happens. Oh. Oh yeah, so the activator itself isn't what makes it not do that, so that would be the way to do it. Okay, so that worked. Okay. Let's see if I can peel it back off. I can. But see, that stuff's coming up with it. So that's pretty good stuff. Okay. Yeah, so you could peel it off. You could see the film. Alright. Part of that is this is shiny. I could abrade this surface, which is probably what I should do. Okay. We're on plan Z. No, not Z. Okay, I have some 60 grit here. I'm going to just abrade the surface. Basically just put grooves in it. Okay. So that's there. Just clean the dust off of it. Okay, so that's nice and clean, some isopropyl. Yeah. Okay. So now do that again. So I'm going to put this on here. Spray the accelerator. Let that do its thing. I don't know how long it would take otherwise. Again, there's not directions on this. And again, I should be wearing gloves. I'm kind of making sure that I'm not touching stuff. Yep, not coming right off. Let's see how much it sticks. Oh, it's got a better bond than it did before. If I really pull it, it probably won't come off. No, I don't know. Better bond. Abrade the surface. Which is normally what you do when things are shiny. Okay. So now that I think that works, I'm going to cut those four. So these all seem fine. Now let's see what happens when we do this. Because I think I moved it. Yep, just the backside up a little bit. Like that. Good. I'm just lifting up a little bit on my counter so I could turn this. 2 reasons. One, it's easier to turn. Second is I don't want it to like twist that piece that I just put on there to help hold it. So Good. Good. It's always fun leveling something all different directions. Good. Good. All right. So that works. Now what I want to see, is this going to slide right off? No. So it's doing exactly what I want to do. It's holding it in place so I can put pressure on it if I need to. It's not going to just slide. So now I have self-levelers, not self-levelers. That would be magical. I have levelers that I can use with a pad. This, what is this? Shelf and drawer liner, non-slip. Just take pieces of this, put it on there so it's non-stick. Use thumb screws so it's really easy to turn. I don't need tools to do it. And the inserts into just the pieces, scrap pieces of 2x4. So now I have a leveling way to level these off and make sure the top's good. The other reason this is good is because if you use a long board like this, that board could be warped. So because we're just putting it in certain spots, those spots are much easier to level, just like with an appliance or anything that you have to level off. This is how they do it, because doing it at points, much easier than trying to do it all the way down a long run. So that is the other part of this that I probably didn't mention, but that's what we're doing. All right, so I'm gonna go make some more of these. I tapped these in with the hammer just to set them. I'm gonna show you how I normally do it. It's just the vise. Make sure you're in the middle. Okay. Just making sure these are all in. Presses them in. I want to show you as I'm doing it, just things that I don't think about as I'm going, but I think might be good to capture, just little tips and tricks. In the past I would just change this to like a chamfer bit and put it in there, which is basically just like a triangle without a lot of, it doesn't have oh gosh, it just has like a little blade at the base, and it just I don't have one with me right now, but anyway, it has just the 45 at the end, and that's it. So you just push it in here and it does that 45-degree or whatever chamfer. If you don't have one, which I don't have one handy right now, and I don't feel like looking for mine, you can use just a bigger bit, which is what I did, and I'm going to run the drill backwards. See, if you run the drill the same way, the wood will pull it down and it'll make a bigger hole, which we don't want. So I'm going to run it backwards and just do that. And it just gives you enough to get that little bit of a bevel there. Also, you might notice that all these are, different sizes. There's a very specific reason that these are all different sizes. That specific reason is I can only find so much scrap wood. And I made these all 4.5. Another specific reason, I measured the board that I had and said, okay, 4.5 divides it pretty much equally. So that's what these are. Also, these are singular ones because I didn't have long enough boards to be able to make a bunch of them on both ends. And I thought about it, and I actually like the idea of being able to stick these kind of wherever we want if there's maybe a sag or a low dip in something that we're doing, we could pop one of these underneath there really easily and just support that part. So it's actually more universal, so I used what I could. I have some longer ones, as you can see, that are nice because I could just shove them under there, under a support, be fine. But these singulars I could throw in wherever needed, or if it's a very small counter, whatever. But really, I did it because that's all the scrap I had, and that's the best use of the scrap that I had to do what I want to do. So you don't always have to have the best laid out plan. You just kind of go with what you have and make it work. First did this as prototyping. You know, I just threw that one together, testing different things out to make sure it works. Now that I'm making multiple ones, I showed you the vise to make that go a little bit faster and to make sure those are better. I also showed you the chamfer, the reverse chamfer bit, so that goes faster, and we put the CA glue in because I want to just have that extra little insurance. I shouldn't have that open when I'm doing this. That extra little insurance just to hold those in and make sure that they hold well. Now, as far as drawing a circle around the knob and cutting it out with the scissors, that's just what I had on hand. So I did that real quick with those. But now that I'm doing multiple ones, that's going to be a pain in the butt. So I found a socket that is roughly the size of this, and I'm just going to put the socket down, use a razor blade, trace that out, and there you go. So I'm going to do that for, I don't remember how many more I need, but for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-ish. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this, get these cut real quick, because this would have been the longest process of everything. This will make it go a lot faster. So you just find those efficiencies. But I also wanted to show you this because it's the difference between prototyping and throwing something together and trying stuff out. And once you know what's going to work, making the processes more efficient and being able to get more out. And that's just a universal thing. But with prototyping, because you're not sure what's going to work and what's not, you just kind of throw some stuff out there and try it. Like, don't be afraid to fail. You learn a lot from failing and having things not work. I got pretty lucky today, and most of the stuff I did worked. And it's not always the case, for sure. So just wanted to show you that as well. So I'm going to continue this, get all these done. I'll maybe take a picture when they're done, and then you'll see them in action in another video. Be like, well, just use popsicle sticks or just put little things of wood underneath to level off, and I used to do that. And I still would if I had to, but you don't have this kind of precision to make it really level. Not easy either to pick up a counter and to just guess, and hopefully you have enough scrap laying around. So this allows me to build a tool, basically, to level it off quickly, easily, be able to reuse them, and not have to go through the headache of having to find the scrap wood that'll work and put little shims in to make it even and do all that stuff. So yeah, it took a little bit of time to do this. Not a ton, actually, but it took some time to do this, but I'll be able to save that in the first counter, basically, that I do in messing around with all that. So, and this can apply to anything that you need to have level for whatever reason. And I just wanted you to see that process. So, trying to solve a problem, trying to make work more efficient. You can make your own tools. You can use stuff laying around. Now, do you have this stuff laying around? Most likely not. Certainly not the thumb screws and Allen, but you can easily get those at I got the hardware from a hardware store, you know, the screws from a hardware store, and the knobs you can get on Amazon. You can get that stuff anywhere. You can get the ones pre-done, like I mentioned, but you can do the same kind of thing. And you can always use the thumb screws to replace an existing nut, or not nut, but an existing bolt that maybe you have to loosen and tighten to adjust something, whatever the case may be. But you can convert that to a thumb screw as well, make it easier. And also you get to see there's really not a lot to this stuff. You know, we use these tools and things that have that, you know, like a camera. I use that before that concept, but there's thumb screws to set up tripods, attach cameras to them, and there's a bunch of other stuff, obviously, that they use thumb screws for. But you can see it's not a big deal to make those yourself if you need to, but at least you know how it works, and you get to see kind of a process of making a tool, doing it really kind of bare bones, not spending. I didn't spend any money on this stuff. It's stuff I had laying around, and it didn't take a lot of time to do it, but it's going to save me a ton of time moving forward, and hopefully you got something out of it. I wanted to show you the levelers that I made in use. Not sure if you got a good look at those. there. Use them for the counters to make sure it was as even, as level as possible. So the epoxy didn't run to one side or the other. It worked out really, really well.